Some know, some don't know. They call me Mac 1. Marcus Smith, Captain Von D. Mustafa. I take my hat off to him. Mr. President, the picture peoples that's no longer here with us. Mr. Vamples, Mr. Larry J, Universal Lounge. 27th Street was just a mecca for hustlers, entrepreneurs, things of that nature. The first event I gave was on 31st in Camp. Rest in peace, Eugene Staples, one of my outside partners. We sold them all out. And I mean, literally, no chairs, no tables, standing room, buck hop. 40 Highway, that's where we really used to get auto auction hall. Shout out to Romeo Ronell. He came in and behind me in the 90s. Shout out to DJ Fresh. We were at the Smuggler's Inn. It was 600 grown folks in there. I said, Fresh, that's grown folk entertainment. That's how I got my brand. I left the Cabot Beach party, had just got married, brokered the deal, and caught 7 years in the feds.
Have a paid lawyer?
Public defender. I wouldn't give them a dime. I left my family all the money. They had me. They wouldn't give my money. You know what I'm saying? So, like all that. The entertainment thing. Mom's had me around entertainment and a lot of other things in Cali. So getting out of school and coming back home and 1985, touching 100 bands and giving the biggest buck parties in the city.
When was the first?
Oh man, as soon as she told me I'm going to school, I'm gonna pay bills around here, I was already doing it.
Was the party houses and shit back on the scene, or what all was the events back then that was going on?
Back then we hustled.
Von had a shit.
Yeah, we hustled. Marcus Smith, Captain Von D. Mustafa. I take my hat off to him. You know, Mr. President, the party, the picture peoples that's no longer here with us. Mr. Vamples, Mr. Larry J, Universal Lounge. I was young, but 27th Street was just a mecca for hustlers, entrepreneurs, things of that nature. And then just my upbringing from Cali with the hustling, I probably was a little warp speed ahead of everybody.
So you remember the first party you threw or event you threw?
Oh yeah. First event I threw, I had a crew called the Inner City Player Max. Some know, some don't know. They call me Mac 1. I was the founder and CEO of that company that wasn't a company. We was, you know what we was doing. But it was all a learning stage, you know what I'm saying? Like right now for the things I do. But
where was that event at?
The first event I gave was on 31st in Campbell, I believe that street is. Right there by Channel 19, the VFW hall. They put us on the radio, spit my name. Rest in peace, Eugene Staples, one of my outside partners. And we sold the motherfucker out. And I mean, literally, no chairs, no tables, standing room, buck hop. I left there and went to the Ivy Mark Hotel.
And what year was this again?
1985. I've given events, High Regency, Crown Center, Adams Mark, clubs, but 40 Highway, that's where we really used to get the auto auction hall. Shout out to Romeo Ronell. He came in and behind me in the 90s. But me and K-Rock, we moved up the street where Yellow Freight, where the drive-in is, it was an auto auction hall.
K-Rock from down north?
K-Rock.
K-Rock was first to go west for the candy. My nigga rep the north, God bless his family.
Right off 12th and Woodland.
Yeah.
Right on the corner. They know the name of the project, so I ain't got to say nothing.
Yeah.
You know, the whole scenery reminded me of good times. That's all I can tell you.
Did you ever bring like artists from out of town? And back in the day, was you into that, or was you just into
only concert
pop with us?
Yeah, the only concert I ever did was the Bikers reunion thing, Rich the Factor. Shout out to Finishing Touches. You know, me and him brought him. That's the only artist. When my ship come in, Kansas City, surround there, look for grown folk entertainment concert promotion.
You've been making this shit just go off of just your name and we gonna have a good time. You don't even really got to bring nobody.
No,
like
you ain't got to be no star to be in my show. No, I started out down on 31st and Benton, before hours and after hours, you know. I started grown folk entertainment from the 85 to somewhere in the 90s when I took a hiatus, been on vacation and all that. In 2008, got off vacation. 2009, I founded Grown Folk Entertainment Shout out to DJ Fresh.
Yeah.
We were at the Smuggler's Inn. It was a cold November night. It wasn't snowing, but it was cold. There was 600 grown folks in there, and I was in the booth with him. And I looked out there, and I said, Fresh, that's grown folk entertainment. That's how I got my brand. I gave a party downtown on top of the old Friends, the old Peachtree restaurant. Right across from the thing, it was a gala. And I knew then that's what I wanted to do. I also, St. Louis Charlie, Mr. Shelby, Benny Shelby, Calvin Shelby, they taught me the business. They taught me how to deal with your customers. 100.
Take me back to the Body Works since we talking about that back then. So what was the original name? Was it Body Works?
It started out as Body Works Phase 2, Southtown Pavilion, Club Skyline, and then Club Beams. They had a history from 91 to they had 30-some years in the same building. Unheard of, nationwide.
You ever throw any parties in there back in the day?
Yeah, I created 7 annual events. All of my events that I created, I try to make them annual. That would give somebody, something to look forward to. January, Blue Jeans and Blazers. February, My Sign, Pisces, the Big Fish Bash. March, Dons and Divas. April, 70 Soul Train. May, Memorial Day Mix-Up. I take off in June. I'm available for booking. July, I have July the 3rd, whenever the 4th of July falls, I give an event somewhere doing something. August, I'm collaborating with Slick Vic, the annual Pink Party. And then September, I got an event with 3 more brothers, shout out to Third Row, September to Remember. They all draw 500 or better. Blue Jeans and Blazers, 2 bands, 2,000 people. No artists, no radio advertisement. The city gives me proclamations and shit.
We're gonna get into that.
As I got today. Yeah.
So I wanna kinda get back a little bit to that earned vacation you was talking about. So what was that like, 03?
1903.
Not 1903.
19,
That old.
2003, I was I left the Cabot Beach party. Had just got married. Brokered the deal, so to speak. Brokered the deal and caught 7 years in the feds. That means I left a wife and kids that were 5 and 7. When she dropped me off in Leavenworth, that's in Kansas. Only thing they let me keep was the little money I had in my pocket. They made me give her my ring. When I got out, she was there with my ring.
And so how did that situation come?
Put it to you this way, I was around other things where they were looking at other people, and they got me. No downward departures. For the record, Google it, look it up. 15189-045. Shawn Wendell Copeland Sr. Rock cocaine.
Straight
2
up.
cases of distribution, then they tried to do me a conspiracy. Once I looked at it, I pled guilty to the lesser charge. No felonies, first time offender, married with children, all that shit. 38 months, no weapon charges, none of that shit, drug program. I fucked up the drug program with a hitter at the camp. Went behind the walls for the last year.
Did you have a paid lawyer?
Public defender. I wouldn't give them a dime. I left my family all the money. They had me. They wouldn't give my money.
So where they send you to?
Leavenworth. I went to the camp. I self-surrendered at a camp. The week I left, Mike Vick came when I got rolled behind the walls. But just going from a camp to behind the walls, I started bidding the last year.
So how was that transition coming from where all this shit sweet, I can have phones, I
All
can do
that,
this,
yeah.
I'm getting this in, and
To bidding. My 4 years at the camp, that 1 year behind the wall with guys I ain't seen in 20, met people from France. I had a little Mexican in there, and they hire you. I speak the language. I'm a black Mexican, and I'm talking about speak the language, not know the language. I speak the language. Yeah, a little bit, not fluently, just a little bit. Vato local, but yeah, that fair time also polished me as far as if I was gonna hustle, whatever it is I was gonna do, because the game had changed. I was out the game when I really not out the game. Like I said, I brokered the deal.
Anybody try to try you?
Oh yeah. I ran my after hours. What I did with my little gambling spot, I had a poker game at the camp and up top. When I was for 4 years, give you a little story. When I first got to the camp, we played poker every evening. It was in a little art room, so we had to make sure the art guys got their little quality time in. We get our little rec in. But it was a guard. He came on his quarter, and he beat the JB. They said, man, JB catches, he gonna go off gambling. So one day we was in there, he walked in, everybody froze. I know y'all ain't saying fuck JB. That's what he said. Nobody said nothing. The Asians, the black, the Indian, the white, nobody said nothing. So I stood, I said, hey, JB, I don't know you, sir, but no, we ain't saying fuck you, man. I got 78 months to be here, sir. This don't cost nothing. Ain't nobody gonna get no head busted for commissary or extortion or none of that. From that day on, I was cutting the game in there for standing up to the guard.
Mm-hmm.
So from that day on, that was my poker game. You wanted to play, you pay cuts. Just like you do in my crap house on the street. And I ain't good, I ain't
So
good.
what about run-ins with the inmates?
Inmates here and there on the basketball court. When I was one white boy, I got locked up for about 4 months. They laid me down in the chute. White boy jumped out the rack, come over there. Especially you, because he knew I was running the poker game. And just like in the report, because I swole him up, and he said, "What you hit him with?" I said, "I hit him with a 3-piece." 3-piece, a right, a left, and a right. A 3-piece. He told him he got tackled on the football field. They put us under investigation. I told the captain exactly what happened, because I know. But you know what happened when they put you under investigation? You allowed to be in the hole for 6 months before they want to talk to you. I still laid it down. And then got us together. Y'all didn't have no problem. Went back to the camp. I worked at the military post. I had community custody. I lost my mom while I was in there.
Okay.
In 2004, year after I left, I lost my grandmother, my mother. They let me come see my my grandmother on an escorted
You was in the camp,
trip.
yeah.
Yeah, they brought me an escorted trip, and then 2 weeks later, my mother passed, they let me back out. And then 6 months later, I got the community custody where they let you walk out the door on your own. So, it kind of sting a little bit, but she told me something when I came home and buried my grandmother. When you get out, give yourself a chance. Take care of them kids and family, and you'll prosper, because I'm prosper.